Good morning. Today we are solving proportions using cross products. Again, cross product, another word for product, is multiply. So we are just solving proportions using cross multiplication. This proportion, or this problem, we don't have set up, so we need to actually set it up first and then solve it. It says, each day the seals at an aquarium are each fed 8 pounds of food for every 100 pounds of their body weight. A seal at the aquarium weighs 280 pounds. How much food should the seal be fed per day? So we need to set up a proportion, meaning we have a fraction, some number, equal to another fraction. So first, the first fraction is our first piece of information that goes together. 8 pounds of food for every 100 pounds of their body weight. So we can write that as 8 over 100. Notice that I have food on the top and their body weight on the bottom. Because when I set up the proportion that's equal to this, I need to keep these units the same. The pounds of food on the top and the body weight on the bottom. Well, they only gave us one piece of information. It says the seal at the aquarium weighs 280 pounds. Well, that 280 pounds is its body weight, so the 280 has to go on the bottom. We need to figure out how much food should we feed that seal. So we're going to solve this using cross multiplication. So I'm going to multiply 8 times 280 and set it equal to my other cross, which is 100 times x, or just 100x. So if I plug in my calculator, 8 multiplied by 280, I get 2,240, all equal to 100x. Well, if I need to figure out what x is, the opposite of multiplying by 100 is dividing by 100. So I have x equals, and if we're dividing by 100, we're really moving our decimal point 2 places, or just plug it in your calculator, you should get 22.4. Now this number, 22.4, is x. X was the number of pounds of food. So you could write LBS, which is short for pounds of food. That's a lot of food for one seal. Next, review solving proportions like we solved in 3.5. We are going to set this multiplied equal to this multiplied. So 6 times 52, set it equal to 13 times z, or just 13z. So in my calculator, 6 times 52 gives me 312, equal to 13z. And then last, the opposite of multiplying by 13 would be dividing by 13. Oops, that's a z, equals, and 312 divided by 13 gives me in my calculator 24. Now the next few that we're going to solve the same way by cross multiplying, but now instead of just having one letter z, we have like a number and a letter multiplied. Since we're cross multiplying anyways, we can just do the same thing. We are multiplying and these are multiplied. So we're multiplying those and multiplying those. So first we have 3k times 3. Set it equal to our other cross, which is 27 times 2. Well, I'm going to plug in my calculator, or just in my head here. This is multiplied, so 3 times 3 is really 9, and we have the k, so 9k. And then 27 times 2 gives me 54. So when I solve this to get k all by itself, the opposite of multiplying is divide. So we have k equals, well, 54 divided by 9 should give us a nice number. It will give us a nice 6. So that's the answer for k. Let's do the same thing down here. We're going to solve by cross multiplying. Multiply those, set it equal to multiply those. So we have negative 2h times 5. Set it equal to our other cross, which is 15 times 12. Cross multiplying this is multiplied really, so negative 2 times 5 is negative 10h. On this side, 15 times 12 should give me 180. All I did was plug that in my calculator. And then that's multiplied, so the opposite would be divide by negative 10. We have h equals, I know this is going to be a negative, 180 divided by negative 10 should give us a nice number, just 18. I would like for you to try this one on your own, and then click play to see if you got it right. So we're going to multiply those and set it equal to those multiplied. So first I'm going to do 8 times 21. 8 times 21. Let me try that again. 8 times 21. And set it equal to our other cross over here, which is 7m times 24. Well, this is just multiplied, so we can really multiply 7 times 24. So 7 times 24 gives us 168 with the m. And then 8 times 21 gives me also 168. But we need m by itself. The opposite of multiply is divide. So we have m equals 168 divided by 168 is really just 1. Going back to what we did in 3.5, writing some ratios. It says last year it rained 18 days during a 90-day period. Find the ratio, okay, and we're going to write it all three ways using the word to, the colon, and as a fraction. The ratio of the number of rainy days to the total number of days. Well, it rained 18 days to the total, which was a 90-day period. 18 to 90, we can write 18 to 90, and we could write 18 over 90. This is great. They didn't ask you to simplify it, but if you wanted to, you could divide these both by 9, and you would get 2 over 10. We could continue to simplify, divide by 2, and we get 1 over 5. So we could have written this as 1 to 5 and 1, 5. Either way, if you wrote what's in red or in black, they'll both work. Then find the ratio of numbers of days it didn't rain to the total number of days. Well, if there were 90 days total and it rained 18, we can just subtract to figure out the number of days that it didn't rain. So I'm going to borrow from the 9, make that an 8. 10 minus 8 is 2, and 8 minus 1 is 7. So it didn't rain 72 days, so this is no rain, to the total number of days, which was 90. We can write that as 72, using the word to, using the colon, and as a fraction. And if you're not sure what simplifies or goes into both of these, you could just divide by 2. But I know that 9 goes into both of these. 72 divided by 9 is 8. 90 divided by 9 is 10. And I'm going to divide by 2 again. We get 4 over 5. Which makes sense that if 1 out of 5 days it's raining, 4 out of 5 days it's not raining. So 4 to 5. 4 to 5, or as 4 over 5 right here. Last one, find the ratio of the number of rainy days to the ratio, or to the number of days it didn't rain. Well, it rained 18 days. To the number of days it didn't rain, we calculated that over here, that was 72. As a colon here, 18 to 72, and then 18 over 72. Well, 9 went into all those. 9 also goes into this number here. 18 divided by 9 is 2. 72 divided by 9 is 8. 2 eighths. And I can simplify that by dividing by 2 as well. And we get 1 over 4. So we could have written this as 1 to 4 and 1, 4. If you didn't simplify, that is technically okay, but on a standardized test, for example the MCA, they might simplify that and put it in the smallest terms. Next, it says, you work in the local mailroom at a college. One of your duties is to sort local mail from all other mail. You can sort 6 pieces of mail in 10 seconds. How many pieces of mail can you sort in 30 minutes? So we're going to write a proportion, 6 pieces of mail in 10 seconds. So this is the mail, and this is the time in seconds. We need to figure out how many pieces of mail, so we need to figure out, they just told us how many pieces of mail can we sort in 30 minutes. However, seconds and minutes are not the same units. So we need to convert this 30 minutes into seconds. Well, how many seconds are in a minute? There are 60 seconds in a minute. So we need to multiply those. Every minute there are 60 seconds, so it's 30 times 60. Well, 3 times 6 is 18, and we have our zeros. If you plug that in your calculator, you should have gotten the same answer. And all we have to do is cross multiply. The reason back here I've had both zeros, if you're adding it's just 1, but if you're multiplying, there's 2. There's 2 places in each. So cross multiply, 10 times x is 10x. 6 times 1,800, I'm going to plug that in my calculator. 6 times 1,800 is 10,800 equal to 10x. And then to get x by itself, I'm going to divide by 10. If I divide by 10, that's really moving 1 decimal place, which is 1080. So this is the number of pieces of mail. Oopsies. The number of pieces of mail I can sort in 30 minutes, which is quite a lot. That's a lot of mail. Alright, next it says it took 7.2 minutes to upload 32 pictures to Facebook. That information goes together. We can write that as a fraction. 7.2 minutes and 32 pictures. At this rate, how long will it take to upload 70 pictures? Well, pictures are on the bottom. All we have to do is cross multiply. 32 times x is just 32x. 7.2 times 70. I plugged that in my calculator and I got 504. And then last, all I have to do is get rid of the 32. It's multiplied, so I'm going to divide by 32. And I get 15.75. So if we rounded it up, it would take about 16 minutes. Or 15 minutes and 0.75, or in a minute, that would be about 45 seconds. Alright, next we have a couple more. These ones are a little different because if you notice, there's not just a number and a letter next to each other like 4t. This one says t plus 4. These are very different things. We need to make sure we treat them differently as well. We are going to still cross multiply, so 6 times 77. Is that equal to the other side? We have t plus 4 times 42. Well, if we have addition or subtraction, we need to keep that in parentheses because we're multiplying the 42 by both parts here. So 42 and then t plus 4. So if I distribute this, I could draw a box to multiply. In my classroom, I have t plus 4, and out front, I have 42. When I multiply 42 times t, that's just 42t. But then 42 times 4, I'm going to plug that in my calculator. 42 times 4 gives me 168. So I have 42t plus 168. And on this side I have 6 times 77. which is 462. So if I solve this to get t by itself, first get rid of your addition and subtraction, going back to solving equations. Subtract 168. So we have 42t. And 462 minus 168, I'm just going to plug that in my calculator, and I get 294. And then last, the opposite of multiply is divide. Divide by 42. And I get a nice 7. Now, if that was a little bit confusing, this initial part, we're going to do another one just like it. We are cross-multiplying still. However, if we have addition or subtraction, we need to keep that together. You can't just make that one term. It's k minus 4, and it will always be k minus 4. So multiply 5 times 39 on one side. And then we have 13 times this whole piece, k minus 4. Well, now we can distribute this. I'm going to draw a box. On top I have k minus 4. So when I multiply 13 times k is just 13k. 13 times negative 4, I know that's a negative. 13 times 4 gives me 52. So a negative 52. So we have 13k minus 52. And we're going to multiply those. 5 times 39 is 195. And then just solve like a regular equation like we've been doing. Get rid of just your addition or subtraction, so I'm going to add 52. We have 13k. 5 plus 2 is 7. 19 plus 5 is 24. So 247. And we're going to divide by 13. Because this is multiplied, we're going to divide. And in my calculator, I get a nice 19. Make sure you know how to plug this into your calculator, that you're getting the right answers. Alright, our last two problems here. Oh, no, we got a couple more. Our last couple problems, these ones are both using this map. And this map is a map of Brooklyn Park, and it has a scale of 1 centimeter to 15 kilometers. Use the given map distance to find the actual distance. Now I know this is probably not to scale, but use it for demonstration purposes. This, remember, we can write a ratio 3 ways. We can write this as a fraction. 1 centimeter over 15 kilometers. Now I'm not going to write the centimeters and the kilometers really in the fraction because we're going to be cross-multiplying. Now they're giving us 6 centimeters. Centimeters really goes on the top. We need to figure out how many kilometers would that be in real life. So cross-multiplying, 1 times x is 1x. 15 times 6 on the other side. 15 times 6 gives us 90. And we have 1x over here. If I divide by 1, our answer is still 90. Now over here, we have the same map, so we're going to use the same fraction, 1 over 15. Again, we have centimeters and kilometers. Now they're giving us 3.2 centimeters. Again, centimeters are on the top. We need to cross-multiply and figure out what goes on the bottom. So 1 times x is 1x. 15 times 3.2 gives me a nice 48. We have 1x equals 48. If I divide by 1, x is still going to equal 48. And if we want, we can put kilometers on there. If I am going too quick, make sure you pause the video to make sure that you are solving these problems correctly. These last two should be a review of what we just learned. We're continuing to cross-multiply. This 2z times 54 I'm going to write first. 2z times 54. And set equal to our other cross right here. 24 times this whole piece, keep it in parentheses, z plus 7. Now if we have parentheses, we know we can draw a box and distribute. 24 is our teacher. Then we have z plus 7. Well, 24 times z is just 24z. But 24 times 7, I don't know that. So I'm going to plug that in my calculator. And I get 168. Seems to be a common number we're getting. And over here, this is all multiplied as well. 2z times 54, so 2 times 54 will give us 108. But there's the z there as well. So we have z's on both sides. We need all the letters together. So I'm going to move this 24z over to be with the others, because there's more over here. It's positive, so I'm going to subtract 24z. So 8 minus 4 is 4. 10 minus 2 is 8. So we have 84z equals 168. And then last, the opposite of multiplying is divide. Divide by 84. And we should get a nice 2. I would have plugged that in my calculator if I didn't know. Last one I'd like for you to try on your own and then click play to see if you got it right. Doesn't matter which cross you do first. I'm going to do w times 33. Instead of writing it like that, I'm just going to write it as 33w. And then the other side, we have 11 times this whole piece, which is w, whoopsies, plus 24. So I see parentheses, I know I need to distribute 11 and then w plus 24. Well, 11 times w is just 11w. I'm going to plug into my calculator 11 times 24, and I get 264. So I have 11w plus 264. And over here I just have 33w, nothing changed. And then last, we need all of our w's on the same side here. I'm going to move these over to be with the other ones. Subtract 11w. 33 minus 11, well, 3 minus 1 is 2. So 22w equal to 264. And those are touching. We know that means multiply. So the opposite is divide by 22. And my calculator gives me a nice 12. No decimals. Alright, your homework is 3.6. The front side is more basic, and the back side is writing more ratios. Good luck!